Hey guys! Ever wonder how the Breath of the Wild champions would look if they were human or Hylian? Yeah, me too. So that's what I'll be doing today. Drawing Breath of the Wild champions as humans slash Hylians. Now I've only chosen 3 champions, that being Revali, Daruk, and Mipha, because Urbosa, Link, and Zelda are already very human-like, so I don't think I need to humanize them even more. So let's start off with Revali. So I love every champion, but especially Revali and Mipha. I think in canon, Revali is supposed to be like the same age as Link. So yeah, I tried to not make him look too old. And kind of like it could be a rival to Link. Kind of like Sasuke to Naruto or Gary to Ash, I did give him like kind of archer gloves because just bare hands would not be, I think, ideal. I don't know how it worked when you're a bird, but he doesn't have them as a bird. But I feel like that kind of makes sense because that would be kind of hard to fit maybe. So I gave that to him. I really struggled with his face, getting that angle right. I also made his hair black instead of blue, just because I felt like blue didn't really suit his human form. Also, this arrow is kind of floating in the air. I don't know if that's like an oversight in the actual official art because it just kind of stops, but I feel like it was kind of weird to have it stop, so I kind of made it float, but I don't know if that made it worse or better, so yeah. And I also gave him shoes or boots because I don't think if he still lives in like the Hebra region and stuff like that, I don't think it'd be great for him to wear around barefooted. And overall, I tried to, of course, keep his main outfit, kind of shrink and stretch some things here and there because, he's not a bird this time. And yeah, I just tried to kind of keep the core Revali there. I actually really like how this turned out. He still seems a little cocky. He's definitely just giving those narcissistic vibes. His outfit I actually really like on him. It's always kind of hard when you make, animal type clothing for humans, but this fits actually very well with him. I quite like it. I love birds. I love his bird form. It's so cool. But if he looked like this, I would not be mad. Like, I would be quite disappointed that not more races were in like the champion lineup, but you know what I mean. Oh boy, now we're going to Daruk. So for Daruk, he was a tricky one to transform into a human. Mostly because you wouldn't think it, but Gorons are already fairly human-like. Like compared to the Zora and Naruto. So I mostly just made his skin look more like actual skin. I made him a little bit less hairy. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, because I would still wanted this design to be like fairly different, like from his Goron design. And one thing I didn't really take into consideration is that Daruk is pretty much naked. Like, he does not wear a lot of clothing. So if you transform that into a human, it's gonna look a little bit questionable. I did try later on to make his proportions a bit more human-like, like a little bit more bigger legs and smaller hands, but I feel like that made it look even worse. And yeah, sure, you might think like, well, why didn't you just give him more clothing then? And that's because, well, I want to be faithful to the original. He kind of looks like a sumo wrestler, which should not be a bad thing. I tried so hard to save him. Oh, I totally massacred my boy. I love Daruk, man, but like, this is the kind of guy you see on the street and you tell your kid to just keep walking. Now, I do have 2 versions, one with a little bit more human proportions and one that's more like cartoony, more like, I guess, One Piece style. Again, the one with the cartoony proportions, I think looks better, but it's also a lot more faithful to his original design. Like, there are not too many differences, so pick your poison. Next up is the Sweet Zora Princess Mipha. I was really looking forward to this design, like especially with Mipha, well, and I guess Revali too, but especially Mipha. I'm kind of like, oh, I wonder what she would have looked like if she was a human, and now we finally get to find out. So the biggest obstacle, of course, is her fin tail thing, right? So I kind of made a ponytail out of that. Since her colors are like pink, I made her hair red. So her little fins that represent like armor pieces and clothing, I made them actual clothing and armor pieces. I did make her fins on her hips a little bit longer and more like a robe, I guess. And I gave her like little tights so she wouldn't walk around naked with just a robe. I made her tights white because, does Sidon have white? I think Sidon has white in his design, white with pink. So, oh, and Mipha does too, actually, in her face and on the underside of her head tail. I did give her bare feet because I still think, well, she would still be, I guess, a princess of like a watery region and like swimming culture, so I did want to implement that. I later found out that I made an error with her foot. Her big toe was on the wrong side, so I still tried to kind of fix that last minute, and yeah. So I gotta be honest, I absolutely love this design. Like, I already really love Mipha's personality, and combined with this design, come on now, I'm in love with this design. What I'm saying is, if you're Mipha, DM me. Yeah, I don't know, she's so cute. I really like her design. She kind of reminds me of what's her name? Sumire! Sumire! I almost want to look it up. Sumire, I remember. Sumire. From Persona 5, which, another character that I really love with a big passion. So I guess it adds up. It was kind of coincidental, but I did take her hair color from Sumire. Later I realized, like, oh yeah, they're also both wearing ponytails, so I don't know, she looks just cute. I think this is a good version of how, or a good representation of how Mipha would look like if she was a human. / Hylian. All I'm saying is, Zelda, you may have had some competition. And that was it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let me know which design you like the most, and I hope I'll see you in my next video. Later!